If you clicked on this video, you're probably in the market to buy an F80. And after 1 year of ownership, I think it's pretty safe for me to speak on this topic. So in today's video, I'm going to be letting you know if it's worth buying an F80 in 2024. So for those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Antonio Matuire and I own a 2018 BMW M3. Now on this day, exactly 1 year ago, I bought this vehicle. And so I thought after a year of ownership, why not share the knowledge of everything that I've learned about this vehicle in 1 year. So owning an F80 has actually been my dream for the longest time, ever since I got into cars really. And right before owning this car, I had a 340i as well. Just a little bit about my F80. So as of right now, I have tastefully modified the vehicle. I put on some TE37s and I have done some tasteful carbon fiber modifications around the vehicle. As far as performance, I really haven't gone too crazy. The car came with VRSF intakes as well as a VRSF mid pipe. And since then, I have put an ARM Motorsport high flow catted downpipe on it, as well as tuned it to a stage 2 91 octane tune through MHD. And so I want to start off this video with the reliability I've had with the M3. Honestly, in the 1 year of owning this car, I have had zero, count them, zero issues with this car and reliability. And that goes for most cars. As long as you're taking care of them, changing fluids when they need to be changed, and just doing your maintenance on your vehicle, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna have any issues. But with this car in particular, I bought it around 41,000 miles. And since then, I've put about 5,000 miles on it. So right now we're sitting right around 46,000. Now there are some weeks where I do have to daily it and take it to work. But for the most part, she stays in the garage and she's more of a weekend driver. Now being completely transparent with you guys, there is one small, tiny issue that I did wanna mention, and that's with the 6-speed manual gearbox. Sometimes I have a hard time getting the gearbox into first. And when that happens, I just have to go into second and then go back into first, and it'll actually jump into gear. After doing a little bit of research, this seems like a somewhat normal issue with the 6-speed manual transmission. And it's really not anything serious, but I thought it was worth mentioning. And like I said, it's not every single time. There is just sometimes at a stop sign or a red light, I'll try to put it into first and it won't quite go all the way into first. So I either give it a little bit of throttle and it hops into first, or I just shift it to second, back up into first, and we're good to go. But other than that, this car has been super reliable. I haven't had any leaks, any weird noises, anything like that happen to me. The car has been super solid for the year that I've owned it. Now for those of you watching this video that know about the crank hub issue on these vehicles, some owners have the issue, some owners don't. It's more of an issue when you start modifying the performance on this vehicle. Like I stated earlier in this video, my car is tuned on a stage 2 plus tune through MHD, and I do have high flow catted downpipes on it. Now I don't push my car extremely hard. I do enjoy spirited driving here and there, but it's not like I'm tracking my car or anything like that. So with that being said, I haven't had any issues with the crank hub. Now in my opinion, the crank hub upgrade is a little overrated, and I know that's super controversial, but I definitely plan on making a separate video here soon speaking on the crank hub and how I feel about it. But now touching on the fun factor of this car is extremely fun to drive. Although a lot of people modify these cars to be faster, coming straight out of the factory stock, these cars are already pretty quick. If you do like going to the track or spirited driving, this is definitely a great car for that. It is so planted while you're driving, and that's why this is one of the best entry-level sports cars in my opinion. It definitely feels a lot more track oriented as compared to the non-M BMWs that I've owned. A lot of people will put a lot of hype around M vehicles, and rightfully so, because once you drive an M vehicle, it's kind of hard to go back to a non-M vehicle. Now moving forward, I did want to talk about the looks of the F80. In my opinion, it is one of the most attractive looking M cars to date. Now I know the G80 and G82 has grown on a lot of people as far as looks, but if we're speaking on just strictly appearance, in my opinion, the G8X has nothing on the F8X chassis. This car looks so good and I always get so many compliments on it. I get thumbs up from people driving next to me. I pull up somewhere in a drive-thru to get some food and people are telling me how nice my car is. And I'm not gonna lie, it feels really good to own your dream car and put in work to it to have it recognized by others. And although I did get a lot of recognition in my 340, that was just because it was modded. I got a whole bunch of compliments on this car before I even started modding it. So in my opinion, as far as looks, there's no better looking BMW to own in 2024 than the F8X chassis. And to piggyback on that, this is a very good looking car for the price point that you can get it at. These vehicles aren't nearly as expensive as they used to be, especially since the G8X platform is out there. You can easily get into a mid to higher mileage F8X car for around 40,000 bucks. They're definitely out there, you just gotta do your research. And for a car like this, even if it did have 60, 70, 80,000 miles on it, for $40,000, that's a really good deal for what you're getting. Not only is it a very good looking car for the price you're paying, the performance you cannot beat for the price that you're paying. I was very impressed with how fast this car was just stock when I first got it. And it's insane the amount of power you can gain just by throwing on some downpipes and a tune. Just with those two mods, you're already competing with some pretty fast cars. Now I will say, if you're going strictly for speed and you have the money, G8X platform is probably for you. There is no doubt that the S58 engine is an insane engine with a lot of tuning capability. Once again, if you have the money. And so another question I get all the time is the F8X chassis daily drivable? I'm gonna say it is definitely daily drivable. There are some weeks where I have to take my car to work and it is not uncomfortable at all. Now I will say the suspension is a lot tighter and more noticeable than a more luxurious car or a more daily drivable car, if that makes sense. With that being said, I wouldn't make it your only car as far as daily driving. But if you absolutely have to, there is no reason why you can't daily drive this car. Although it feels like a sports car and you can feel it in the suspension, overall it is still very comfortable to drive. And there's plenty of times where I load my family up into the car and we have no issues going anywhere. It has plenty of room. Sometimes I have 2 car seats in the back, taking my son to t-ball practice, you name it. This could truly be the only vehicle you own. If you just absolutely wanted an M3 and it was gonna be your only car, that wouldn't be an issue at all. Just like any other vehicle, these cars do require maintenance. So if you're not too mechanically inclined to where you can do your own oil changes, brake service, stuff like that, I would definitely say make sure you have enough money set aside where you can not only buy the vehicle, but afford the maintenance that comes with it, because the maintenance on one of these vehicles is not cheap, especially if you're paying someone else to do it for you. Now I will end with, if you are in the market for one of these vehicles, it's going to be extremely hard to find one that hasn't been molested. When it comes to buying a sports car, most of them are going to be modded. If you can mod the vehicle, people are going to mod it. And these cars are very popular cars for being modded. So that being said, when you are buying one, I would just say, make sure you're doing the proper inspections. If you don't feel comfortable inspecting the vehicle yourself, go ahead and take it to somebody else and get it inspected. These cars are meant to be driven and driven hard, but at the end of the day, you don't want to buy a vehicle that's been abused by somebody and not maintained properly. Now you can find a low mileage F8X vehicle that has not been modded, but let me tell you, you are going to pay for it. Whoever owns that car is probably going to charge you an arm and a leg just because it hasn't been modded and it has low mileage. There is nothing wrong with buying a low to mid mileage F80 that has been modded, but like I said, just make sure that it's been taken care of correctly and that the previous owner just wasn't extremely reckless with the car. But obviously, if there's any doubt in your mind whether or not you should buy an F8X car, release that doubt. Get rid of it, because you will not regret the decision in buying one of these vehicles. It is definitely the best and most fun car that I have ever owned to this day. And honestly, I don't think I'm ever gonna get rid of my M3. Even if I did upgrade to a G series in the future, I would probably get it in conjunction with this vehicle. I'm definitely in it for the long haul. That's why at the end of the day, I don't care how many miles I put on it. There definitely is a lot of hype around an M car, and do I think it is worth that hype? Absolutely. But once again, my name is Antonio Mutwire, and that just about wraps up today's video. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if this video helped you out in any way, smash that thumbs up button. It helps me out tremendously, and you will support the channel by doing so. And as always, Mutwire fam, remember your goals and don't stop till you reach them. Peace.